Good morning, students. In today's class of Managing Change in Organization, we'll start with the new topic, that is conflict resolution. In the previous classes of Managing Change in Organization, we have studied what is conflict, what are the various sources of conflict, we have studied what are the various types of conflict, about functional conflict, dysfunctional conflict, how functional conflict is beneficial for the organization, and how dysfunctional conflict hinders the growth and performance of the organization. We have also studied about what is the process of conflict, what are the various stages of conflict. We have highlighted and understood the 5 stages of conflict. In today's class, we'll start reading about what is conflict resolution. This conflict resolution is very important because conflict is something which cannot be removed from the organization. It can only be controlled or maintained. We have to maintain or control the level of conflict in an organization if we want that the organization should perform and there is growth in the organization. If we don't understand the ways and means of resolution of conflict or to get a solution to a conflict situation, then it will be difficult for the organization to grow and perform. So this conflict resolution is very important in order to maintain an efficient and effective workforce and work environment. So we'll start with conflict resolution. So first we'll understand what is conflict resolution. Conflict resolution means it is the process for handling disputes and disagreements between two or more multiple parties. In the previous classes, we understood what is conflict. Conflict is nothing but a disagreement or dispute between two or more parties regarding an incompatible or opposing needs, goals, the people. Okay, so this disagreement or dispute between these two people is known as conflict, and the conflict resolution means the process of handling these disputes and disagreements that occur between two or more multiple parties. Now, what is the goal of conflict resolution? The goal of conflict resolution is to minimize the negative factors that are influencing the conflict and encourage all participants to come to an agreement. So what happens if there is a conflict? There is a lot of negative force in the organization. So this conflict resolution tries to remove these negative factors, to remove this dysfunctional conflict, and also tries to encourage people to have or come to a mutual agreement or consensus. Then successful conflict resolutions result in a mutually beneficial outcome that's agreed upon by each party. So when we say a conflict resolution is successful, when can we say? When the consensus or the mutually come to a consensus or a mutually beneficial outcome that is agreed upon by all the parties concerned. If they agree upon that, then there is no problem. We can say that the conflict resolution has been successful. So, while understanding the conflict resolution, we have to understand a grid. In one side of that is cooperativeness, and the other side there is assertiveness. So, if we understand this grid, we'll understand the various conflict handling intentions of each party, or what are the various conflict handling approaches, or what are the various ways in which the conflict can be handled. So on one side of it is cooperativeness, and the other side there is assertiveness. When we say it is cooperativeness, what does we mean when we say it is cooperativeness? Cooperativeness means it refers to the degree to which one attempts to satisfy the other party's concern. Here you want to satisfy the other party's concern. Okay, here the focus is not on yourself, the focus is on other party. Okay, and then comes assertiveness. Assertiveness refers to the degree to which one party attempts to satisfy his or her own concerns. Here, when you are saying you are assertive, where the party tries to satisfy his or her own concerns first, rather than the opposite party. So, in brief, we can say that cooperativeness means concern for others. The others' goals are satisfied, and assertiveness means concern for one's own self, where we try to satisfy our own concerns. Okay, so these varying degrees of cooperativeness and assertiveness yield different resolution approaches. If you put in the diagram, if you in the next income, next we see the diagram. If you see that we put the cooperation and assertiveness, the varying degree of cooperativeness and assertiveness will give rise to 5 common conflict handling situations. Okay, so we'll start with that. So if you look into the diagram, we have assertiveness on one side and cooperativeness on the other side. And we have come up with 5 varying degrees of conflict resolution. So the conflict can be avoided, or it may be competing, it may be collaborating, it may be accommodating, or it may be compromising. So when you look at the conflict resolution style of avoiding, here we are very uncooperative and very unassertive. Okay, so here we don't want to engage in conflict. It is the desire to withdraw or suppress from the conflict. So this is one style of handling the conflict. The second is uh, accommodating. In the accommodating, you can see you are highly cooperative but very unassertive. Means you are interested to accommodate the other party's concern rather than yours. The willingness of one party in a conflict to place the opponent's interest above his or her interest is known as accommodating. Okay, this is another style of handling the conflict. Then comes competing. When we say competing, you can see in the diagram here the person is very uncooperative but is very assertive. It means there is a desire to satisfy one's own interest regardless of the impact on the other party. Here you want that you should win, and this may be at the cost of other person's goal also. So this is known as competing. This is also one of the way of handling the conflict. Then comes compromising. The compromising is a middle path where the both cooperativeness and assertiveness are average, are as a compromising position. So here each party to a conflict is willing to give up something to resolve the conflict. Both the parties here, as you can see in the diagram, they try to resolve the conflict by willing to give up something in order to resolve the conflict. Both parties are ready to lose something from their side, both the parties. So in order to have a common ground or a mutual consensus agreement. Okay, so this situation is also one of the ways of handling the conflict. Now then comes the last style of conflict handling, that is collaborative. Here you can say the cooperativeness is very high and assertiveness is also very high. So what happens in collaborating? In collaborating, the parties to a conflict each desire to satisfy fully the concern of all the parties. Here they find a solution that satisfies the needs, goals, wants of both the parties. None of the parties are at the losing end. So this is known as collaboration, where the parties each to the conflict each desire to satisfy fully the concern of all the parties. So we have in brief understood what is conflict resolution, what are the ways of handling the conflict. Okay, here the major thing you have to keep in mind that the persons to the conflict, the parties to the conflict, they they may try to solve the conflict by taking up any of the ways or courses or approaches that were discussed. In the following slides, we will try to understand each of these five conflict resolution in detail. Yet it is important to understand that the various five conflict resolution approaches, these are common for both intergroup conflict and also interpersonal conflict. So if there is a conflict between two people, there is interpersonal conflict. Then also the person can use avoiding, competing, accommodating, compromising, or collaborating. And even when the conflict is between two groups, two parties, two departments, then also they can use this avoiding, competing, accommodating, compromising, and collaborating ways or means or approaches to solve the conflict. So these five conflict handling intentions are described and understood in a more elaborate way in the following slides. Now coming to the first uh, uh, conflict handling intention, that is avoiding or withdrawing. Here both avoiding and withdrawing means the same thing. There's various books, various authors have given various terminologies, but most common are avoiding or withdrawing. What happens in avoiding and withdrawing conflict situation, conflict handling situation? First, avoidance involves walking away or ignoring the conflict entirely. Here you are avoiding the conflict. You don't want to enter into the conflict. You ignore the conflict entirely. Then it includes trying to just ignore the conflict or avoiding others with whom you disagree. You have not only tried to ignore the conflict, but also the persons with whom you are in conflict or you disagree. Because obviously, if you confront that person, the situation may come where you will confront him, that person again, then it will again lead to conflict. So you not only try to ignore or run away from the conflict, but also avoid people with whom you disagree. It feels safe to the individual, but does not solve the problem. Even though this conflict handling situation is very easy, it is feel safe method. This is not does not solve the problem in perpetuity. It is only a temporary fix. The problem might worsen if it is left unaddressed. If this conflict style is understood or is followed, then on a long-term basis, the situation will become worsen if it is unaddressed. Here we have to remember that, uh, for example, if we let us give an example to make you more understanding of the situation. If it's a small matter, if it's trivial matter, then it's okay if we use this conflict handling situation. Like if it is okay to avoid a conflict with the co-worker, if you know you are going to quit your job soon, here you need not get into the conflict because you know that you are going to leave your job somewhere, quit your job somewhere. So you just try to pass your time. Okay, you try to avoid the conflict as far as possible because since you are already quitting, you need not converse or deal with this person. So you did not enter into the conflict with that person. So this is one of the ways. Okay, the problem here is when one party or one person may pick up a slack of a co-worker who avoids conflict, which can lead to frustration and resentment. What happens if one party tries to slack, okay, tries to not do work and avoids conflict, it may lead to frustration or resentment in the group. If everyone on the team or group has avoidance strategy, if everybody in the group or the team follows avoidance strategy, what happens? The productivity becomes low. When a problem arises, no one is ready to step up. So it may not bring long-term benefits, but it is only useful as a temporary fix or a temporary alternative. But this is not the final or permanent solution to the problem. Okay, now we will understand where this avoiding or withdrawing conflict handling situation can be utilized or appropriate. It is appropriate when the conflict is seems trivial. It is of not much importance. It's very trivial. Then you can use this avoiding or withdrawing conflict handling situation, conflict handling approach. Then you do not have the time or need more time to think. You don't have the time to think or you need more time to come up with a better solution. Then you will try to avoid. So you have time to prepare for a more better solution. And then next time when you confront that person with whom you are having the conflict, you will be able to explain him or face him in a better way. Then what? You feel as though you have no chance of winning. Sometimes it happens that you feel there is, even though whatever means you try, you will not be able to win the argument or win the conflict. Then you just try to avoid the situation. This is also one of the situations where we use avoiding or withdrawing conflict handling situation. Then to let people cool down and regain perspective. Sometimes while the conflict is going on, it becomes too much aggressive and the temperatures are rising. So in order to settle down, in order to cool down and also to regain perspective, to rethink in a new manner, we try or use this avoiding or withdrawing style of conflict handling. And finally, if you are afraid of being met with resentment, you feel that there are chances that you will be facing a lot of resentment, then also you try to avoid the situation or conflict because you are afraid of such high aggressiveness or resentment. Now, we will understand what are the various advantages and disadvantages of this avoiding and withdrawing conflict handling situation. Now, coming to the advantages. The first advantages is this technique saves time that you can invest in other productive activities. As we have said, it's a very time-saving approach. If we use this, we not indulge in conflict for a larger period of time, and that remaining period of time we can actually use for indulging in more productive activities. What is the second advantage? It is a good approach to apply to low-level conflicts. Okay, when the conflicts are of low level, then it is very easy. But the conflicts are high level, you cannot avoid the conflict. You cannot just run away from the conflict. You have to face your opponent and you have to come to a solution. You cannot just run away from the situation. So it is only possible when the level of conflict is low. So this is also one approach. So for low level conflicts, it's a very good approach. A trivial conflict. Then it gives you enough time to prepare if the conflict re-emerges. Since you are avoiding the conflict at the first chance, so what it gives you enough time to prepare yourself to come up with a better solution, better arguments. If the conflict re-emerges, if the conflict again starts, you have a better time to re-strengthen your arguments and come up with a more better solution with more better perspective. So this is also possible. So this is also an advantage if you follow avoiding or withdrawing style of conflict handling. So these are the advantages. Apart from the advantages, there are certain disadvantages which we need to discuss. The first disadvantage here is may lead to weakening or losing your position. Okay, what happens? The team members may think you are lacking skills or are not authoritative. The team members who think you are not having authority figure, that your position is not good, you have a weak position. So this will cause one of the disadvantages if we regularly follow this avoiding and withdrawing style of conflict handling situation. So this is what our team members may think about us. Second, when multiple parties are involved, withdrawal may negatively affect your relationship with the party that expects your action. Obviously, when multiple parties are there and multiple parties are involved in mm, disagreement or conflict, and some of the parties look up to you that you will come up with a solution or you will handle the conflict in a better way. But if you withdraw, then it will negatively affect your relationship with the other parties who were expecting you that you will step up and come up with a more proper action, or they expected certain kind of action from your side. There, with them, your relationship will be hampered. So these are the disadvantages if we follow this avoiding and withdrawing style of conflict handling intention. Apart from the first thing, that is avoiding or withdrawing, there is another way in which we can handle conflicts, or we can get solution for conflicts, that is competing or forcing. You may either compete or force yourself or force your thought process. What happens in this competing and forcing? In competing and forcing, there is a desire to satisfy one's interest regardless of the impact on the other party to the conflict. Here, we are not interested about the desires of other party. We are only concerned about the ways and means we can satisfy our interests. So we try to satisfy our interest regardless of the other party's interest. So it includes desire to achieve own goal at the cost of others' goal. Here we are not interested at the others' goals. We are interested in getting our goals to be satisfied. Then this is a win-lose approach. This is a win-lose approach. A competing style takes a firm stance and refuses to see the perspective of other parties. You take a firm stance and you don't want to see or refuse to see the perspectives or the viewpoints of other parties. You keep pushing your viewpoint at others in competing style. You keep pushing your viewpoints to others or keep rejecting their ideas until you get your way. So this is something that is done in competing, withdrawing, in competing conflict handling. Sorry. Then what happens but when goals are extremely important, one must sometimes use power to win. So this when this competing and forcing should be used when the situation or goals are extremely important, then we have to uh, approach the conflict handling situation by using competing or forcing, because we have to win. So we have to use power or force or compete to win. Now we understand what are the situations where uh, this competing and forcing is appropriate for the organization. Appropriate to use when first you have to stand up for your rights or morals. When you feel the situation is such that you have to stand up for your rights or morals, you cannot let it go. Okay, then you have to use competing and forcing conflict handling style. Then you need to make a quick decision and force others to get on more. When there is a need to make a quick decision in case of emergency, if situation is very pressing, and you need others to get on board also. So you need not delay the situation. So you have to take a quick decision, which is essential, and you need others to be on board with you. Will be then only you'll be using this competing and forcing situation. forcing handling style. Then when you need to end a long-term conflict, if the conflict has been prolonging for a longer period of time, it's a long-term conflict, then you finally want to put an end to the conflict. In such a situation also, you will take the help of competing or forcing style of conflict handling situation. Then when you have to prevent terrible opposing decision from being made. If you see that if you don't come up with a solution, it will lead to a very terrible or opposing decision from being made. So you see that the decision is not right and it will lead to a more terrible and opposing decision, then you need to step up and use force in order to take the right decision. Then you can use the competing or forcing uh, conflict handling intention. Finally, you have to stand up against people who take advantage of your non-competitive behavior. Sometimes people, when you continuously use, need not be competitive or do not use this competing or forcing mechanism of conflict handling situation, conflict handling approach, what happens? People take advantage of a non-competitive behavior. They think, okay, he's not competitive. We can force our decision on that person. So in order to stand up to such situations, to such people, where the people are taking advantage of a non-competitive behavior, in those cases, we can use this competing or forcing conflict handling approach. Now, we will in competing forcing, there are certain advantages and disadvantages of using this approach. So we will try to understand those. First is the advantages. The first advantage is this techniques provides quick solution or decisive action to the problem. So this is very important because it provides a very quick solution or a decisive action to a problem. So when the problem requires a solution which is very decisive or a very quick solution is needed, then we will not indulge in too much conflict and will try to completely force the proper way in which we try to do this. Okay, the conflict, when we need a decisive action, we'll use this. Then comes, it is appropriate for emergencies when the time is of essence. When we see that in case of emergencies, we have to take decisions very fastly. Okay, then also we have to take the help of this competing or forcing conflict handling situation. We cannot delay the situation. Apart from the advantages, there are certain disadvantages. What is the first disadvantage? It may backfire or worsen the conflict. When both the parties enter into conflict handling approach or by using competing or forcing, it may sometimes backfire or worsen the conflict because the other person may take it very personally and it will completely hamper the relationship between the parties and it may also backfire. It may also cause frustration among co-workers who don't feel like their points of view are taken seriously. Sometimes if you in situation you are using competing and forcing conflict handling situation, you want that your viewpoint or your argument or your decision should prevail about the other party. The other party or other co-workers may feel that they are not taken seriously. They feel that they are not given much importance and this causes frustration among these co-workers. Okay, so this is also very disadvantage if you use competing and forcing mechanism or forcing approach for conflict handling. Then finally, may negatively affect your relationship with opponent in the long run. If we use this competing or forcing style of conflict handling situation or intention, then it will negatively affect our relationship with the opponent in the long run. In the long run, we'll feel that our opponent feels that we are very assertive and we are not ready to listen to the other party, and our relationship with our opposing party will be completely destroyed in the long run. So this is the way the conflict and forcing conflict handling approach causes disadvantage. Okay, so in today's class we have understood what is conflict resolution, and we have understood what are the various 5 types of conflict handling uh, approaches or intentions, out of which we have studied two major conflict handling situations, conflict handling approaches. First one is avoiding or withdrawing, and the second one is competing and forcing. Okay, I will be sending you the notes for the same digitally. You go through the topics. If you have certain doubts, please contact me. Okay, no need to panic. Prepare at home. Thank you for your attention.